Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. Have you noticed the new graphics, the new look? We debuted it yesterday and we're continuing it today, so we got our new look for the new year. I'm Michael Taylor, you're watching This Day. Thank you for joining us. It is Friday, January 3rd. Hope you're enjoying your new year so far. And we've got a great show for you today, so let's just talk about it right now. On the program today from Memorial Care Saddleback Medical Center, we have Dr. Samir Ken, and then Sports Corner with Cole Young. We're going to do the year in review, so it's going to be a big one. We've got a big one. Lots to talk about for this last year in sports, and Cole's going to be here to wrap all of that up for us. Right now, though, we got kind of the want-want. So your Christmas tree already taken down. We got to keep you informed about what's going on there. Stay informed, and we got to recycle that Christmas tree. I took all my stuff down on the 1st. It was kind of a sad moment, but if you're going to recycle a tree, the next pickup that you can schedule is going to be for January 10th. Make sure you contact Resident Services via email or by the phone number there on your screen at least 48 hours ahead of time before you place the tree out there on the curb for pickup. Make sure you get all the tinsel, ornaments, lights, everything off the tree, because they're going to put it through a mulcher and they're going to turn it into mulch and compost for the community. So it's going to be recycled in a great beneficial way for our community, and you'll be able to dispose of your tree correctly. So make sure you make that appointment for January 10th. That's the next big pickup for the trees. All right, folks, let's take a check on our weather. We've got a great weekend shaping up here. It's going to be a little bit cool on Saturday, but you know, these are the usual temperatures we get this kind of time of year. Nice days, mostly sunny today. Then we start doing a little bit of cloudiness over the weekend, so kind of off and on, mostly morning clouds. Usually going to be burning off to mostly sunny in the afternoon. And then Tuesday, again, going to be one of those mostly sunny days as the temperature kind of goes up on Monday and Tuesday. Kind of nice temperatures for us. Let's take a look at that sunrise and sunset. We got something squirrely going on here. Got a little squirrel coming to the camera. Dave Southworth took this picture for us. That's a cute one right there. It's a great shot. Usually they don't look at the camera. Usually they run away from you when you get that close. Sunrise this morning was 6:55. Sunset tonight is going to be 4:55. All right, folks, if you've got great pictures of squirrels, dogs, cats, birds, things going on in the community, great sunrise, sunset, whatever it might be, we'd love to see it. Email us, LagunaWoodsVillageTV@gmail.com. Make sure you include your name, where you took the picture, and we will use it in our sunrise sunset segment. All right, got one meeting to tell you about right now, and then when we come back, Bree will be talking to Dr. Samir Ken from Memorial Care. Stay with us.
When you really need help, the Salvation Army will tide you over, give you shelter, give you food, and help you get back on your feet.
The Salvation Army helps human beings all over the world.
I do anything in my power to try to help them out.
Some people's legacies are engraved on monuments, but yours can be written on lives. With careful planning, you can take care of your family and serve your community, and the Salvation Army can help.
Every year, we would get a charitable gift annuity with the Salvation Army. This helps me, it helps my daughter, and it helps the Army.
I chose to create an endowment for the Salvation Army.
It's one of the few major decisions I've ever made in my life I am completely comfortable with.
What does it mean when your mammogram says that you have dense breast tissue? Basically, what that is trying to tell you is that the density of your breast is so great that sometimes it's tough for the mammogram to see through that tissue. That's why it's important for you to understand your breast density so that you can consider different types of screening.
Today we are thrilled to have Dr. Samir Ken, a board-certified thoracic surgeon whose expertise and dedication have transformed countless of lives through innovative care.
Thank you.
Welcome, Dr. Ken. It's so nice to have you. It's been a little while since you've been here on the show. Could you tell us a little bit more about your role there at Saddleback?
Sure. I'm a what's called a dedicated thoracic surgeon, meaning I just focus on the lungs and everything in the chest outside of the heart. That's the cardiac surgery part, so I do the thoracic or chest surgery. I've been at Saddleback since 2016 and been a part of the robotic thoracic surgery program, the lung cancer program, as well as their cancer committee and lung nodules. So my passion has been lung cancer. I've been very happy to be a part of the Saddleback program since that time.
What made you want to focus on thoracic?
You know, during my surgery training, that was what was my passion. I had a wonderful mentor. He was very instrumental in guiding me towards thoracic surgery, and I like the relationship with oncology patients. You know, I enjoy not just operating, but then following them for years and being part of their lives for a long time. And it's very rewarding. And I think my passion was amplified. You know, my wife is a cancer survivor, and so I think being on the other end, I've used that as a good experience to understand what patients go through, and it's made me a better surgeon and a better physician for my patients.
You can really empathize with them.
Understand
with
what they're going through and understand their concerns, understand their challenges, and cancer care is always evolving, so it's an exciting time right now with all the new drugs and new trials that we have, especially in the world of lung cancer.
That's wonderful. So what exactly, I know we've touched on it a little bit, but what exactly does thoracic surgery treat or manage?
So predominantly it's lung cancer.
Predominantly.
Lung nodules, anything in the chest. I also will focus on thymic or mediastinal, we call it middle of the chest tumors, so thymic cancers, esophageal cancers, any disorders of the diaphragm like diaphragmatic hernias. I will do infections in the chest, we call those empyemas, and rib fractures or rib traumas. So really anything in the chest or thoracic cavity, but overwhelmingly my practice and what we see is lung cancer or lung masses.
So would you say that that's the most predominant?
Yes, probably, especially for my focus, I would say probably 80% of my practice is really lung cancer and robotic lung surgery.
You must have seen a lot of improvement throughout the years in your career. What is the prognosis of people who are getting lung cancer? Are you able to?
Yeah, you know, it used to be that 80% of patients were stage 3 or 4, and surgery wasn't always an option, and the drugs were not as effective. And now we have lung cancer screening. We're catching things early, so I get to see a lot more stage 1 lung cancers that I can do surgery on and cure. And then, believe it or not, there are stage 4 patients with these new, we call them targeted or immunotherapies, and they're living for months or years with good quality of life that these drugs are able to kind of put the tumor in suppression or like a pause button and let people live for years. So it's really revolutionized the prognosis and outcome for these patients. It's really exciting.
We used to think of people that got lung cancer were smokers. Is that the case anymore?
It still is. About 90% of people are smokers or former smokers. California is a more healthy state than many states across the country with our laws of smoking.
Non-smoking.
But we also have, especially in Southern California, we have a large Asian population, and there are a lot of studies and data that show that there are some genetic non-smoking components for that Asian population. So we see more of the non-smokers here than other parts of the country.
I see. Okay. So when you are determining how to treat, how do you utilize a minimally invasive versus a robotic assisted approach to surgery?
The old approach was an open incision, which would be very painful and a lot of recovery and a lot of risk. The minimally invasive started with the video assisted, and then robotic is I guess I would say a refinement or another level of minimally invasive. So I try to do everything I can robotically. The advantage of the robot is it's 3-dimensional, where the video assisted is 2-dimensional. The robot also can zoom in 10 times, and the instruments have articulation where the video assisted is more fixed. So I really prefer the robotic surgery for cancer operations because I find it to be more lymph nodes are sampled. You can see the blood vessels, so it's safer. Incisions are 8 or 12 millimeters, so small incisions. So I'm able to operate on patients in their 70s and 80s, and they do very well, and they recover very quickly. And so I'm very thankful that we have that at Saddleback. We have
Absolutely.
we have the latest Da Vinci Xi system, the robot system, and our team, our staff is well trained and well experienced in providing that care. So I'm very blessed to be part of that, where we can provide that for our community.
And I'm sure that those robotics are ever, getting better and better and better
Yes.
as the years go on.
Yes, technology.
Where do you foresee that going?
Well, we've started to do what's called robotic bronchoscopy, meaning you put a scope on the inside and you're able to biopsy
Through
tumors.
the esophagus?
Through the trachea or the
Or
windpipe.
trachea, okay.
And I envision one day, instead of coming from this side to get to the tumor, you'll just come from the inside and remove the tumor from the inside, kind of a high tech, because if we can, there's already technology now where you can actually get to the tumor and inject chemotherapy or inject
Straight at it rather
straight
than
at it. So I have a
harming
feeling
this
as technology evolves, maybe the next 5 or 10 years, we'll actually remove it from the inside. Patients will not have incisions, and it's kind of exciting. We'll see where it goes.
Seems logical. So what are some of the prevention methods that you might suggest to your patients so that they can
Yeah,
live
of
a healthy
course.
life?
Well, in the world of the lung, of course, if you're a smoker, please quit. That's obvious, the most important thing. If you are around secondhand smoke or you have a loved one, then have them quit. But now most people are former smokers, and so I encourage them to see your internist, because we have lung cancer screening. That's really the most.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so we have a very robust program at Saddleback with our, we have a navigator, a lung nodule program, lung screening program, so we can detect things early.
Great.
So find out from your internist if you qualify. But in general, I tell people to walk every day. We live in a beautiful part of the country,
We
so that's an
do.
option.
We do.
And, of course, drink plenty of liquids and eat healthy. But those are the things that, regardless of what your disease is, will make you more healthy.
Wonderful. Okay, let's tell residents how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. I have an office number, which is 949-679-6874.
Okay.
I also have a website, which if people like, you can certainly look me up on my website and make appointments online as well.
Wonderful. Well, Dr. Samir, thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
for
It's been
joining
a
us
pleasure.
today.
And again, if you need to connect with Memorial Care, there's the memorialcare.org/heart. We have a lot of web resources for patients. So it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. You're watching This Day. Stay tuned.
Joint care so exceptional, you'll wish you'd done it sooner. At Memorial Care, we're voted high in patient satisfaction for a reason. Our specialized surgeons and care teams understand the pain you're going through, as well as the best personalized treatment to get you back to what you love sooner. With nationally recognized care, advanced technology like our Precision Mako surgical system, and support that's always by your side. Get ready to go forth with renewed joy. A new movement awaits at Memorial Care Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
For some of you, it may be time to replace your dated windows and doors. I'm a resident of Laguna Woods and have served the community for 10 years. As a women-owned business, you can trust Window Jazz to provide seamless service from the moment we meet to the completion of the job. Most jobs are completed in just one day.
Window Jazz put windows in my home. The service was amazing, the price couldn't be beat, and I would recommend them to anybody.
Call Window Jazz now to schedule your free consultation.
Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to this Friday's episode of Sports Corner. I hope you all had a great holiday season. I'm Cole Young, and I figured I would keep the annual tradition going of doing a year in review episode. I know that there were several important football games this week, so I'll cover those at the very end. But let's dive right into the highlights from 2024. Starting in January, we had the college and NFL football playoffs. In the NCAA, Jim Harbaugh led Michigan to their first national title win since 1997 when they rolled right over the Washington Huskies in the national championship 34-13. Harbaugh then left Michigan to take over the head coaching job for the LA Chargers. Harbaugh wasn't the only one, as several iconic coaches moved on from their teams. On January 10th, Nick Saban retired from Alabama, Pete Carroll was fired by the Seahawks, and early the next morning, Bill Belichick parted ways with the Patriots. In the NFL playoffs, yet again, the Kansas City Chiefs and San Francisco 49ers punched their tickets to the Super Bowl for a rematch. In early February, the Chiefs walked off the 49ers 25-22 in overtime to win their second straight Super Bowl, becoming the NFL's first back-to-back champion since the Patriots in the early 2000s and cementing their place as one of the league's greatest dynasties. They also have a good chance of making it a three-peat this year. Outside of football, on February 15th, Caitlin Clark broke the Division I women's scoring record with a 45-point game that surpassed the record with 3,569 points. In the racing world, F1 was shocked by an announcement that Lewis Hamilton would be leaving Mercedes to join Ferrari after winning 7 world titles with Mercedes. In March, Caitlin Clark broke another record. 2 weeks after breaking the women's scoring record, Clark brought her career total to 3,951 points as she passed Pete Maravich as the NCAA's all-time scoring leader, dropping 35 points in the final regular season game of her collegiate career. Speaking of basketball and records, all-time NBA scoring champion LeBron James reached a new milestone. James became the first player in NBA history to score 40,000 career points. James reached the threshold a little more than a year after setting the NBA's all-time scoring record. In the golf world, Scottie Scheffler won at Bay Hill for his first victory of the year, kicking off the best PGA Tour season since prime Tiger Woods. More on him later. And, as always, March Madness tipped off for both men and women. Both Madness tournaments came to a close in April when South Carolina beat Iowa 87-75 to become the 10th undefeated national champion in women's college basketball history. The game averaged 18.7 million viewers and peaked at 24 million, making it the most watched women's basketball game ever. For the men, UConn beat Purdue 75-60 to become the first back-to-back men's basketball national champion since Florida in 2006-2007. This was UConn's 5th men's basketball championship since 2000. No other school has more than 3 this century. Scottie Scheffler continued his incredible year when he joined Tiger Woods as the only golfers to win the Masters and Players in the same year. To end the month, we had the NFL Draft, which saw 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round for the first time in 40 years. In May, the sports world slowed down a little bit, but there were still some major headlines. Manchester City clinched their 4th consecutive Premier League title, becoming the first club in the 124-year history of English football to win 4 straight top-flight titles. As a quick note, Manchester City's dominance is coming to a screeching halt as they are struggling this season. Also in May, we witnessed the closest finish in Kentucky Derby history when Mystic Dan, an 18-1 long shot, edged both Sierra Leone and Forever Young by a literal nose to win the 150th Kentucky Derby. Also in May, the Pac-12 Conference played its final championship game, or so we thought. In June, we got the NBA and NHL finals. The Celtics beat the Mavericks in 5 games to win their record 18th NBA championship and first since 2008. On the ice, the Florida Panthers won their first Stanley Cup ever, beating the Oilers in Game 7 to avoid a historic collapse after Edmonton had fought back from a 3-0 series deficit. We also had the College Baseball World Series and Softball World Series, and Oklahoma completed the first 4P in Women's College World Series history. Back in the golf world, Bryson DeChambeau won his 2nd U.S. Open after Rory McIlroy missed 2 short putts on the final 3 holes. Halfway there, July was a historic month for sports. We saw Spain win their record 4th European Championship and Argentina win their record 16th Copa America within hours of each other, bringing an end to the summer of soccer. Then, personally, my favorite part of the year, the 2024 Paris Olympics opened. Legends like Simone Biles, Katie Ledecky, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Noah Lyles, Tara Davis, Sydney McLaughlin, Scottie Scheffler, and so many other incredible American Olympians showed up in the biggest moments on the biggest stage and brought home the most Olympic medals. Outside of the Olympics, on the tennis courts, Carlos Alcaraz also set some records. Alcaraz beat Novak Djokovic in the Wimbledon final, becoming the 6th man in the Open era to win the Channel Slam, which means Alcaraz won back-to-back on the clay of Roland Garros for the French Open and then the grass at the All England Club for Wimbledon. In August, the Olympics closed. Shohei Ohtani then stole the spotlight in his first season with the Dodgers. The two-way superstar became the 6th player in MLB history to join the prestigious 40 home run, 40 stolen bases club. However, that accolade didn't last long. Just about 2 or 3 weeks later, Ohtani achieved MLB's first 50 home run, 50 stolen bases season with perhaps the greatest offensive performance ever. 6 for 6 with 3 home runs, 2 doubles, 2 steals, 10 RBIs, and 4 runs. Sticking with baseball in September, the Oakland A's played their last game ever in Oakland as they will move to Sacramento for 3 years before their brand new Las Vegas stadium is complete. The White Sox also lost their 121st game, breaking the record set by the 1962 Mets for the most losses in an MLB season. Asia Wilson broke the WNBA's single-season scoring record, and in the same week, the NFL season began. The Eagles beat the Packers in the first ever NFL game in Brazil, and the Commanders and Bengals played the first NFL game without a punt or a turnover since 1940. Moving into October, I said it throughout that whole month, but it was the month of champions. The World Series began and ended, and the Dodgers beat the Yankees in 5 games to win their 8th World Series, matching their rival Giants for 5th most all time, just behind the Yankees, Cardinals, Red Sox, and the A's. The Liberty beat the Lynx in a winner-take-all Game 5, finally capturing their first WNBA championship in their 6th trip to the finals. And on October 28th, we had the rare sports equinox, where we had the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and even MLS games all on the same day. This was just the 31st time in history this had happened. Also this month was the Maryland Miracle Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels, and the first time ever that LeBron James and his son Bronny shared the court together. November wasn't the most eventful month in sports, but NFL and college football still reigned supreme. We saw the end of Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter's historic college football seasons. In the NFL, we watched teams clinch playoffs and fall out of playoffs, and go on unprecedented losing streaks like the Saints, Giants, and Bears. Outside of football, the Winnipeg Jets won 15 of their first 16 games, the best start in NHL history. Cleveland Cavaliers started the season 15-0, tied for the second best start in NBA history. And Max Verstappen clinched his 4th straight F1 title with a win at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Just last month in December, we had the start of the first ever 12-team college football playoff. Travis Hunter won the Heisman Trophy, and the Chargers exploited an odd NFL rule when they made the first free kick attempt since 1976. The LA Galaxy beat the New York Red Bulls 2-1 for their record 6th MLS Cup title and their first since 2014. And I mentioned it a few weeks back, but 6-time Super Bowl champion Bill Belichick agreed to become the head coach at North Carolina. That brings us to the first week of 2025. The NFL playoff picture is just about set, but I'll cover that more next week. No NFL picks for me this week since a large number of teams will be resting their starters in preparation for the playoffs. Which means I finished my season going 4-0 one last time. I finished with a record of 42-10, and over the course of all the years of my picks, I have a lifetime record of 118, 41-1. Not bad at all. Next week, I'll see how accurate I was with my playoff predictions. More importantly, this week was the college football playoffs. On Tuesday, we had the quarterfinal rounds begin when number 6 Penn State and number 3 Boise State squared off in the Fiesta Bowl. The underdog Broncos fought hard until the end, but Penn State ultimately came out on top 31-14 behind their high-powered offense. The Nittany Lions will now move on to the semifinal round to face Notre Dame. Notre Dame upset the Georgia Bulldogs in the Sugar Bowl yesterday and now move on to face Penn State next week. We had 2 other major games on New Year's Day. The highlight of the day was when number 4 Arizona State and number 5 Texas kicked off the day in the Peach Bowl. Texas looked to be in control early, and in the 4th quarter, the Longhorns were up 24-8, and it seemed like this game was over. That's when ASU found life. Running back Cam Scatabo dragged the Sun Devils back into the game after he had a passing and rushing touchdown in the 4th quarter. Each 2-point attempt was successful, and before we knew it, ball game was tied. A few missed field goals by Texas later, and this thriller headed into overtime. ASU scored first, then Texas scored twice, and after 2 overtimes, Texas pulled out a very narrow 39-31 victory. The Longhorns earned their spot in the semifinals, but will have to face Ohio State. The Buckeyes had a tough task in front of them, the undefeated, top-ranked Oregon Ducks. But in probably the biggest shock of the weekend, Ohio State handedly defeated Oregon 41-21. Right before halftime, the Buckeyes led the Ducks 34-0 before Oregon scored their first touchdown as time expired in the first half. Ohio State would score once more to hold off the Ducks and earn their spot in the next round. All semifinal games will be played next weekend, so I'll give more in-depth previews of those bowl games next week. All games are leading up to the College Football National Championship, which will be held on January 20th. 2024 was an incredible year for sports and everything else. Thank you all for tuning in to Sports Corner throughout 2024 and every Friday. 2025 is shaping up to be one to remember, so be sure to tune in every Friday throughout the year for more news, updates, and highlights. I'm Cole Young. Have a great weekend. See you next time.
At Adapt to It, we strive to make the everyday tasks easier by providing our customers with the tools they need to be successful. We carefully explain the use and care of all of our equipment. Adapt to It has been in Laguna Woods for over 20 years, and we know that nothing in life stays constant. So we can help you adapt to all the changes in your life. Adapt to It sells and rents items and always delivers with a smile. Come in today to experience what we mean when we say, when you can't change it, adapt to it.
And welcome back, everybody. Let's talk movies before we head out. And we got a good one for today. It is Gattaca. It is a sci-fi picture about genetic engineering and the society that we'd have with that kind of thing. Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman star in that one. It's brought to us by Pacific Financial Planners. 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. Vincent is an invalid, and he assumes the identity of a member of the genetic elite to pursue his goal of traveling into space with Gattaca Aerospace Corporation. However, a week before his mission, a murder marks Vincent as a suspect. So we kind of go through the trials and tribulations of that one. It's a thriller, and it's also about society differential, so that should be fun. And then on Saturday, a much different, much more happy one from Disney. This is Out of My Mind. Phoebe Ray-Taylor and Jennifer Aniston are in this one, and it is brought to us by RadNet at 2 p.m. with the subtitles and 6 p.m. without the subtitles. Melody Brooks is navigating 6th grade as a nonverbal wheelchair user who has cerebral palsy. With the help of some assistive technology and her devoted allies, Melody shows that what she has to say is more important than how she says it. So that's going to be a great one for Saturday movie. Hope you enjoy those. Let's take a check of the weather, and we've got some great temperatures for this weekend as well. Today is going to be in the mid-60s, mid to upper, if you want to call 67 upper, mid to upper 60s today, and then we get a little cooler on Saturday, then we get a little bit of, again, a warm up, and we get all the way to 70 on Tuesday. So look forward to that. Got some off and on clouds, but mostly sunny for the whole rest of the weekend. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this edition of This Day. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to be talking to the folks from Hogue and Community Concert, so stay tuned for that one as well. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of This Day. For all of us here at Village Television, we hope you make this day a great one.